In this chapter, we will be reviewing and introducing some ideas in statistics. In this lesson, we will introduce the Z-score table.
Okay, hi everybody. So in this lesson here, we're going to look at Z-scores, but we're going to look at them using a table instead of the calculator. Now, I know a lot of time people are like, oh man, can't I just use the calculator? It's so much easier. But we have found that that going over the table, the Z-score table as well, has actually helped improve people's understanding of how the Z-score stuff works here and how it's linked to probabilities. For some reason, seeing it laid out in this table form actually brings more people to clarity with this topic than just using the calculator. Sometimes using the calculator, it's quite honestly, the calculator's doing some magic behind the scenes. And so this is clearly a magical idea. But once you've got that table down and you're referring back to the table, the relationship seems a little bit more obvious, okay? So somebody has gone through and done a lot of work a long time ago to put together and to link up a whole bunch of Z-scores with probabilities there, okay? Now remember, okay, that the Z-score table, or link it back to the inverse norm feature on the calculator. The inverse norm feature takes the area to the left and spits out a Z-score, okay? Well, that's basically what the chart is doing, is it's linking Z-scores to area to the left of that value here, okay? If you want the area to the right, then you just got to go 1 minus whatever you see in the chart here. So here's a little bit of a snippet of what you're going to see on the chart here. Now, the way the chart works is you're going to have a column on the far left, and you're going to have a row up on the top here. These together represent the Z-score. This is going to be the Z-score down here to the nearest tenth. Up here, it's going to add the 100th spot. Okay? So just to give you an idea, a Z-score, well, actually, I tell you what, we're going to come down here and I'll just start answering the questions here and I'll refer back to this. So for example, if I know that a Z-score is negative 2.48, the area under the curve to the left of that is what? Well, here's how I use this, negative 2.48. So what I do is I look along here, negative 2.4, so that's right here. Okay, and then I go along until I get to the 0.8, or sorry, 0.08. And 0.08 is this second last column here. So putting those together, negative 2.4, 8, which means the area to the left of that data value, or Z-score here, is going to be 0.0066. Okay, 0.0066 is what I'm reading right there. Okay, the next one says a Z-score of 1.72 has an area under the normal curve of. Okay, well this particular little snippet of it doesn't have the positive Z-scores on it. So I got to go to the table here. So let's take a quick look at what the table looks like. Maybe I'll zoom out a little bit. So here's the table. Oy, oy, oy. This part of the table, and you can see by the diagram up here, the Z value, the right-hand line there, or that area, is to the left of the mean, which means these are all going to be your negative Z-scores. Here, the area is now the majority of the graph, which means the right-hand side is to the right of the mean. These are all our positive Z-scores. Okay, so now let's zoom in a little bit here. The question that I just had was, what is the area under the curve to the left of a Z-score of 1.72? So here's my 1.7, and then 2 is going to be the third column in, because 0 is the first one, 1, 2. So that's going to be this value right here. Okay. So let's see that. 1.7, 2, so 0.9573. So right here, 0.9573. I want an area under the normal curve of 0.1492 has a z-score of? Well, gee, now I'm asking you to go backwards and to get the z-score given this area. Now, I have to assume that this is the area from a z-score to the left. Okay, I have to assume that because I can't use the chart otherwise. So let's grab the chart here. Oops. And what I'm looking for now is because I've given you an area of 0.1492, so 1492, okay, what I got to do now is I got to look in the chart for my area here. Now, that shouldn't be too bad because the area should get closer, larger and larger as we go down here. So 0.1492, I'm just looking here. Here's 0.1151, so there's 11%, 13%. Now I see 15% right there, so it's probably one row up. And I keep looking here. Oh, it's going down here. So 0.1587. And there it is right there, 0.1492. Okay, and I got to keep my eye on that. 0.1492. Drawing straight across here, that looks like negative 1.0, and then going up 4. So negative 1.04. So I come back here. It has a z-score of negative 1.04. And the next question here says an area under the normal curve of 0.9641 has a z-score of. Same question, but now it's asking me to go. It's giving me an area that's 0.964. That's quite large. Okay, that 96.4% of the data. So that's going to be over here. So let's zoom in now. And I'm looking for 0.9641. Okay, well, actually that actually jumped right out at me when I just glanced at the table here and my eye went almost immediately to that. So this is going to be easily enough to read here, 1.8. And then we got to go up the column 0. So positive 1.80 will be the answer to that question. Positive 1.80. All right, so now before we go on and start doing some questions here, just some reminders here. A negative z-score indicates a value below the mean. Positive means it's a value above the mean. When we're talking about these normal distributions, particularly when we're standardizing it, remember that the mean is 0, the standard deviation is 1. Okay, mean, median, and mode are all going to be 0. If you want the area under the normal curve, we usually think of it as this. This is typically the notation we're going to use. Area under the normal curve. Up to a z value of this value here. So this will be the area to the left of this z value, okay, or z score. We want to find the probability of z being less than a certain value. Okay, that's taking the z score and looking for the area in the chart. Okay, and then you'd simply convert that to a percent by multiplying by 100. So with that in mind here, let's take a look at some questions. Okay, so for the following examples, we're going to shade in the region indicated by the inequality, and we're going to use the z-score table to determine the area under the curve. So we're just going to do the bunch of these things right here. So I want to know what the probability is. Okay, basically I want to know what the probability is that z is less than 1.53. So on my graph here, I know 1.53 is going to be somewhere over here. I am looking for that area right there, 1.53. So I'm going to go to my z-score table here. I'm going to go to 1.5, and then I'm going to go over, this is 0.0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Okay, so the area there that I'm seeing is 0.9370. Okay, so here it is again, 1.5 and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 0.9370. 0. Whoopsie daisy, you can't see that. 9370. The next one, what is the probability that z is less than negative 0.78? Okay, a z-score of negative 0.78, if you look at your graph, the graph here, it's not quite a full standard deviation to the left, so somewhere here, I'm looking for this probability, or this area right here, negative 0.78. So This time I'm looking at this side of the chart. Okay, the negative side, so negative 0.7. Okay, negative 0.7. And so here we go, 0.70. Oh, now it's gonna do it like this here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that makes sense to be the second last one. So the answer here is 0.2177. Okay. So this is going to be equal to 0.2177. The next one. What is the probability that Z is greater than 2.09? I don't know. But I know that it's going to equal 1 minus the probability of Z being less than 2.09. Okay, and this I can read off of the chart. So let's go to our graph here. Here's 2.09. I want this probability. Well, I'm not going to get that from the chart. I'm going to get this from the chart. So let's look that up. So I'm going to use the positive one here. So this is, sorry, I lost track of what it was, 2.09. So here we go. So 2.0. And then same as I did before, I got to kind of slide this over. Here's my 2.0. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, it's the end of that chart here, so 0.9817. Okay. So this is going to be equal to 1 minus 0.98, oh, and I lost track of that already, 17. I just want to make sure that I don't screw this up with a little bit of mental math here. So the answer here is 0.0183. Okay, so basically a little bit more than 1.8%. Okay, what is the probability that Z is greater than negative 0.44? Well, that is once again going to be 1 minus the probability that Z is less than negative 0.44. Okay, negative 0.44 is going to be somewhere around here. And I want that probability. I want that area of the graph here. But this is the one that I'm going to get. So again, let's go to the chart. This time it's negative, so I'm on the left-hand side here. So I'm going to look up negative 0.4. Okay, so 0.4, that's down here. And I'm looking at 0.44. So this is 0.40, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0.3300. Okay, so going back here, this is going to be 1 minus 0.3300. And you get 0.67 as the probability. And actually that makes sense because remember, we know that it's 50% of the data is above the mean, and this is just going to be a little bit more than that. So yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that result there. It makes sense. Oh, look at this one. I want to know what the probability is that my Z score is between negative 1.21 and 0.68. Okay, on my graph here, negative 1.21 is going to be somewhere like here. And 0.68 is going to be somewhere over here. Whoops, 0.68. What I'm looking for is that area right there. Now, so let me go grab another marker here. When I look these two values up, okay, when I look these two values up on the chart, okay, negative 1.21 is going to give me this right here. That's the area that I'm going to get when I look up negative 1.21 on the chart. When I look up positive 0.68 on the chart, whoops, sorry, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted that one. I'm going to get this. Well, okay, so how do I get this piece right here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 0.68 area and I'm going to subtract the negative 1.21 area. So that's going to take this. So the probability of the z-squared being between those two is going to equal the probability that z is less than 0.68, and I'm going to subtract the probability that z is less than negative 1.21. Now I got to look those things up in the chart. So 0.68. Okay, so we're on the positive side here, but 0.6, here we go. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 0.7517. 0. Whoops, can't see it. 7517. And I'm going to subtract from that the area to the left of negative 1.21. Okay, well, negative 1.21. Okay, there's my negative side here, negative 1.201. So 0.1131. Okay, 0.1131. And 0.7517 minus 0.1131 is 0.6386. And so that's the probability of being in between those two values. Okay, so in the previous question, we were using the chart to come up with z-scores. Use the z-scores to come up with probabilities. Now we're actually going to use it in the other way around here. So here, let's maybe zoom in a little bit. Zoom in a little bit on these. So to start off with here, I want to figure out what the z-score is here if I know that the area to the left of it is 0.881. So this is basically like saying the area to the left of that is 0.881. So what is the corresponding z-score? Well, I look at my chart here, and because this is greater than 0.5, I know this is going to be on the right-hand side of my chart here. So I'm looking for 0.881, okay, in here. So, okay, here we go, 0.788, here's 0.81. So let's just slide along here. Where am I getting what was it again? 0.881. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking in the wrong spot now. Okay, so right here I'm seeing a 0.8849, that's good. 888, okay, so maybe I got to jump to the above line here. And there it is. There it is right there, 0.881. So this is the one that I want here. Now when I slide, well, the easiest thing to do for me right now is to slide up. I know that it's going to end in an 8. Okay, so now if I take this and slide this back here, I'm getting 1.1. So I know that my z-score here must be 1.18. That's basically what we're doing. We're just looking for that area in the chart here. Now, what if the chart looks something like this, where the area that I've been given is to the right? Well, I need the area to the left. So how do I get that? Well, I go 1 minus 0.2877, and that will be equal to the area function here. So now I just go to my calculator and I enter that in. 1 minus 0.2877, and I get 0.7123. Okay, so now I got to look for that in my graph, my chart here. And again, because that's greater than a half, I'm going to be on the right-hand side of my chart. And again, it's 0.7123. 0.7, okay, I'm up here. And I see it right there, 0.7123. And when I slide along to the right, I see that that's 0.5. I'm just going to double check that there, 0.5. And go up and it's 6. So Z is equal to 0.56. Down here, this is pretty straightforward because the area that I'm giving you is clearly to the left, so 0.0136. The only difference here is that because this area is less than a half, on my chart, I'm going to be looking at the left-hand side. It's 0.0136. 0.01, so now I'm going to look at this here. Right here, my eye went to the 0.0139, so it's got to be close. Oh, and there it is right next to it. So that's going to be negative 2.21. Z is equal to negative 2.21. Okay, good. Let's keep going. What happens if it looks like this? Well, here's the Z-score that I need. And I know that this area here is basically 14.8% of the graph. But that's not what I need. I need this part right here. Now this is a little bit different because I can't just subtract it from the whole because this isn't the part that goes off to infinity. But I do know that this is 50% of the data. Okay, so I know that also on this side of the mean, this is all 50% of the data. So what I need here is 0.5 minus 0.148. That's going to be my area function. So 0.5 minus 0.148. So 0.352 is going to equal the area to the left of that Z value. This is less than a half, so I'm going to go to the left-hand side here, 0.352, sorry, 0.352, and now I just gotta start looking for it. Okay, okay, so 0.3, I see a 0.344 here, so let's go across here. It's getting smaller here, so let's go up, 0.38. Well, 0.35, there it is, 0.352. So let's take a quick look. So 0.3520, if I go right over here, that's negative 0.3. And if you go up, 8. So Z is, over here, Z4 is negative 0.38. Here, okay, here I've got two Z values that I want to find here. Well, the area to the left of ZA, okay, is going to be 50% of the graph plus this right here. So it's going to be 0.5 plus 0.2019, which is going to be 0.7019. Okay. For B, a little bit more complicated than that, but though not much. The area to the left of B is going to be 0.5 plus 0.2019, that percentage, plus this one, plus 0.1602. So the area to the left of that ZB is going to be, now I'm going to just enter this in my calculator because I don't want to make a quick mistake here, 0.1602. Okay, 0.8621. And so now, one at a time here, I'm going to go look these up. So because they're both greater than 0.5, I'm going to look on the right-hand chart here. So 0.7019. First of all, 0.7019. So where are we at here? Oh, well, that one just about jumped right out at me. I looked right at it when I was looking at the chart here. So here it is, 0.7019. And so sliding to the left here, that's 0.53. So the Z value here is going to be 0.53. Here I'm looking for 0.8621. So I go to my chart here. Again, it's greater than 0.5, 0.8621. So I'm looking around here, looking around. Okay, I see a 0.86 here. 0.86, okay, the numbers are getting a little bit larger there, so I'm going to go up a row. 0.8621, and there it is right there. Oops, I didn't mean to draw on that. 0.8621. So now I slide along to the left, and I get 1.0. And because it's at the very end, the last decimal is 9, so 1.09. Okay, now one more sort of similar to this here. Again, two of them. I want to know what Z1 is and Z2, but I'm given the two probabilities here. To get Z1, that's pretty straightforward because the area that I do give you is to the left. So that's going to be easy to look up here. Z2 is going to be a little bit different because the area that I'm giving you is to the right. So what I need to do is I need to subtract that. Okay, I need to subtract that probability from the whole, from 1, to get the area to the left. Now I'll just do that real quick here. So 1 minus 27.43, whoops. And this is going to be 0.7257. So let's do these in bits here. So first of all, Z1 is clearly less than a half. So I'm going to be looking on the left-hand chart here. So 0.0475. So 0.04. Okay, so I'm seeing the 4s right here. 0.0475. Where are we at here? 0.04. Maybe we got to look here. 0.04. Oops. Did I miss it? Yeah, I did. .0475436. So those are getting, okay, there it is, 0.0475. Wow, I looked all over the place. So 0.0475, if I slide over to the left here, that's going to be negative 1.6. And if I slide up, it's 0.07, so negative 1.67. Whoops, can't see that. Negative 1.67. And over here, because that particular area is greater than a half, I know it's going to be on the positive side, 0.7257. So I got to just look inside the data here, 0.7257. Oh, there it is right there, 0.7257, so 0.60. So my Z-score here, Z2 is going to be 0.60. Good. Okay, let's just look at one more example here, just because it's very likely to show up here. So the area to the left of Z7, if I'm telling you that that's 95%, this is going to be 0.95, and then the question is, what is Z7 here? Well, it's greater than 0.5, so you know it's going to be on the right-hand side, so let's zoom in. So I'm looking for 0.95. Okay. So 0.95, okay, well here's a 0.95. 0.95, go up here, okay, 0.95, 0.95. Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? I don't actually get one where it's 0.95. It jumps right over it in my chart there, okay? So what I got to do here is got to kind of make an approximation here. Now, if it's closer to one of these than the other, then you would go to that one here. But in this case here, 0.95 is this very little bit greater than this one and smaller than this, but it's the same amount. Okay, look at this, tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000s. It's 5 10,000ths greater than this one, but 5 10,000ths less than this one. So our little line here says if the area is exactly in between two Z-scores, go to the third decimal place here. So maybe what we got to do here is we're going to go for one that's right in between here. These two decimal points, whoops, these two decimal values go with 1.6. Okay, 1.6, and if I slide up here, 1.64, 1.65, but it's like halfway in between those two. So let's say 1.645. Okay, because we can't do any better than that. 1.645, it's exactly halfway in between.